World of Trucks is being brought to you by Honda, the power of dreams, and by Hallmark, built strong for the way you work and play.
Well, it was all a dream. Yes, Avery Clark thought up this machine 53 years ago when he made this drawing right here. And look at how beautiful it's become. It's sitting here on Champion Row because last year, not only did it win the Mother's Choice Award, but it also won Best Custom. And Avery, I think you're looking pretty strong for maybe a second straight year here.
Oh gosh, that would be like another dream come true.
Now, immediately with this car, the body lines are so smooth. Tell me about that.
Well, I think everything should flow together, and my dream as a young man was to be a car designer and or a test driver. And I've spent a lot of time doodling when I should have been studying in school, I guess. But anyway, it's just something that you learn through experience, and you try to make what I think should be flowing lines without sharp edges and corners, and try to make it in as much detail as you can, and hopefully you come out with a good design and or a project that you want, and more than that, I guess, that you're proud of.
Now, there are so many beautiful trucks here. This one, gorgeous. But what is it about this truck that keeps winning awards?
Well, I hope it's design and color, which is one of a kind. I went through 34 mixes before I came up with this formula. And to be honest with you, I call it the Avery and Susie color. That's my wife's name, and she and I both agreed on the same thing, so I said paint it. And so that's where this color comes from. But I wanted a color that was close to a color that I had on a pickup truck back in the old days, because I'm older than dirt. But anyway, that's basically it. And then when you look at the wood design in the bed, that's African satin wood trimmed in walnut. And that's kind of unheard of. And if you'll look, all the corners are radiused. There are no sharp edges. If you look at the steering wheel, it's built in 6 segments with a solid walnut ring. The horn button is a piece of the African satin wood and a starburst flare with a solid walnut ring. Then the console that I designed has the bed design on it, and it's trimmed in walnut. And then the pieces on the armrest I designed, and it's solid walnut and then routed out and then inlaid in African satin wood to keep the color. And you know, hopefully it all goes together.
You know, mini trucks are one of those things in the import sport compact culture that have stood the test of time. And you got to respect the fact that you don't need a whole lot of money to get into them. They're simple machines, but yet you can do so many things with them. And John, apparently you were the wrench on this thing that did a little work for Brian and did it very, very well. Let me start back here in the bed, which you've cleaned up very, very nicely.
It's a full sheet metal bed, 16 gauge. Me and him did ours together. Gas tank relocated over here.
All right, so you got that on the driver's side rail?
Yes.
All right, this used to be a Toyota Tacoma, but you dropped it with air rather than hydraulics, which have pretty much gone away unless you're into hopping and that kind of thing. But did you fabricate all the rest of what you did to the bed?
As far as the sheet metal, yes. The body drop and suspension work was originally done by Jody Hall in Pikesville, Kentucky at the drop shop, which we went back in and have reworked some to lay bigger wheels on it, the 18-inch Inky LM ones.
Yeah, they fit underneath there real nice, and they got just the right amount of bling there. All right, I want to come inside now. I notice, of course, yeah, it's for sale. A lot of them are. But the suicide doors, it can be a difficult thing for people to do and to do well, to do right, but apparently they line up right.
Yes, they do. And they was done by Eric and Matt Long at Custom Works in Union City, Tennessee.
All right, then, and I noticed the seats, you've gone away from the bench here, which, of course, a lot of pickups came with, and you went with buckets. They came out of what?
A Saturn, which we had them recovered in bone leather, done by David Korn, in which myself and Brian did the floor panels, the headliner, did most of the rest of the work in the interior ourselves.
All right, you slipped a minute ago. You said tweed, but let's go ahead and drill that down right now, is that you got it on the floor, and you got to love it because you can see the channeling work that you've done here, and, of course, you've even got it behind the headrests.
Right. It's also behind the headrest, in the headliner, the pillars themselves, the back B pillars as well.
All right, center console, very uncluttered, but I like the fact that you got the audio right there in the middle.
Yeah, it works pretty good to have somewhere to put it.
All right, awesome job, and it definitely looks definitely very good. I love the way that it's down on the ground. Now, John is here in place of Brian, the owner who couldn't make it, and I tried to talk him into trying to register as the owner to take home first prize, but he would have none of it. An honest guy who does an honest work.
And the winner, A.L. Clark's 1940 Ford.
It is a dream come true. That's all there is to it. And I don't know how many people have doodled about 3/4 of their life like I have, and I was doodling in school when I should have been studying. So anyhow, it is a dream come true. But I want to thank Masters and everybody. And I mean, you know, last year was not like this year. It wasn't near as hot. But all those that stayed and everything are to be congratulated. And let's think about it and go forward.
Now, for more information on products featured on today's World of Trucks, check out these websites. Join us next week on World of Trucks for the NMRO Mud Drags from Lima, Ohio. Until then, Claude Wood, keep on trucking.